welcome back to Trick Tracker Special Show in the air with me, Nivedna Prabhu. We're all geared up to be discussing everything to do with the fifth and final rescheduled test match between England and India. But before I get talking to my cricket guest, Prateek Tiwari, let's take a quick look at the summary as to where both the teams left off previously yesterday. Of course, in the second innings so far, India is at 125 for 3. Pujara still at the crease, but unfortunately have lost wickets in terms of. We'll get quick talking about a little bit about Gill as well, considering the fact that both the innings did not go in his favor. But before we get talking about everything to do with what is going to be happening in today's play, tell me in the comments, what are you expecting and what do you think the result of this test match is going to be? Give me all your predictions in the comments. Prateek, welcome back. Great to have you once again. Looking at that summary, of course, you must have analyzed this in the post-match analysis yesterday. But talking about today's conditions, what are we expecting? And a little bit about Gill's performance as well. Not been great in both the innings for him.
Yes, he would certainly be disappointed because, as I said, that this is a great chance. This was a great chance for him because two of your regular openers were not here, so he kind of got a chance. Because had there been KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma, of course, you would not have probably seen him batting at the top of the order. So he had a good partner with him, Cheteshwar Pujara. It was a new look, kind of an opening pair. But he would certainly be disappointed because he kept on playing. I mean, he looks like a batter who has got a lot of runs in him, but it's just that you need to kind of curtail that instinct of yours when you're batting in these conditions in England, because bowlers like Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, they are going to, give things, they give you that greed of going and chasing the ball or driving the balls. And he kept on falling for that. So this is one area of his batting which has been plenty of times has been exposed, has been seen in Australia before as well, now here in England. So I think a couple of things for worry as far as Shubman Gill is concerned. But I don't think Indian camp would be worried even one bit at this point in time because 257 runs, it's a lot of runs. And you have two great batters batting in the middle. Pujara on song has already completed his half century. Pant is coming after a brilliant 146, a counter-attacking knock. So he is high on confidence as well. And this pair, I mean, as contrasting as it is, because there's Pujara who is very stoic, sedate, he goes about his business in his own way. And then there is the inimitable Pant. I mean, you just cannot copy him, and the way he bats, he just rules the game in his own way. So it's a great day to look forward to. And India would, of course, be wanting to ride high on the advantage and pile up more misery and add as many runs as possible.
That's right. Now, this is, of course, about what we can expect from Indian batters. But दूसरी तरफ bowling पे आते हैं for Team England. We do know that James Anderson, once he gets going, there's really no looking back for him as well. The bowling card over here, 1 for 26. Anderson, Stuart Broad, 1 for 38. And, of course, Ben Stokes, 1 for 22. Now, a little bit about the fact that there was a statement that had come in. इंडियन कमेंटेटर्स थोड़े ज्यादा हार्श होते हैं टुवर्ड्स विराट कोहली, लेकिन वो जो डिसमिसल था, बहुत लोगों का ये मानना है कि वो अनप्लेएबल था. ऑफ कोर्स सेंचुरी के बारे में बात करना अभी देयर इज नो पॉइंट. आई थिंक जब वो होना है तभी होगा. लेकिन हिज वे ऑफ डिसमिसल्स, उनके बारे व्हाट डू यू हैव टू से अबाउट दैट? एंड दूसरी तरफ विद द फैक्ट दैट डू यू थिंक इंडियन कमेंटेटर्स आर वेरी हार्श कोहली की तरफ, या एक्सपेक्टेशन ज्यादा है?
निवेदना, जब इतना बड़ा खिलाड़ी होता है कोई, विराट कोहली जितना स्टैचर, जब आप 70 सेंचुरीज लगा चुके होते हैं और यू आर प्रोबेबली बीइंग बिल्ड एज वन ऑफ दोज जो शायद सचिन तेंदुलकर की टैली को इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट में चैलेंज करने का हम अगर कोई एक पोटेंशियल कैंडिडेट देखते हैं, जब आप वो बल्लेबाज होते हैं, जब आपने क्रेडेंशियल्स उस तरीके से अपने एस्टैब्लिश किए होते हैं जैसे कि विराट कोहली ने किया है, तो इट्स बाउंड टू हैपन. आई मीन, आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज एनीवन एल्स टू ब्लेम Virat Kohli himself, I mean, because the kind of standard that he has set for himself, it's extremely high. And एक समय पे हम में से किसी ने भी शायद नहीं सोचा होगा कि 2019 के बाद से आज 2022 तक हमें एक भी शतक उनसे देखने को नहीं मिलेगा, because August 2019 was the last time he scored a century in ODIs, and then that pink ball test match November 2019 was his last international century, the test century that he scored. Speaking of harsh, I think, yes, in this dismissal, you really cannot dig in too deep because, we were even discussing in the post show, I would reiterate the same point when Chirag was asking, because if you look at the mode of dismissals, you will not be able to find that there is a pattern. There's one thing that we know that Kohli has struggled against the ball that just leaves him or probably is outside the off stump. Apart from that, you would not be able to spot out any specific chink in his armor, which is technical or which is problematic, on which he can work upon. So it is just that luck has not been his great friend in the last couple of years. And even in the IPL, the way we saw him getting dismissed हर बार एक जिसको हम कहते हैं ना कभी कभी कि बल्लेबाज तरीका ढूंढ लेता है आउट होने का, तो कभी वो रन आउट हो जा रहे हैं, कभी कोई बहुत अच्छा कैच ले ले रहा है, और एक रब ऑफ ग्रीन निवेदना जिसको हम बोलते हैं, दैट यू नीड अ बिट ऑफ लक। मुझे लगता है वहां पे कोहली बहुत ज्यादा अनलकी रहे हैं, बिकॉज देयर हैव बीन सिचुएशंस व्हेन प्लेयर्स हैव बीन ड्रॉप्ड एंड दे हैव गॉन ऑन टू स्कोर सेंचुरीज, बट the mistake that he makes, I mean, even Sunil Gavaskar has pointed this out a couple of times, that, and it's a very, very correct point that he has said, that the first mistake that Kohli commits ends up being his last mistake. So probably he is not being allowed to, have that luck in his favor. And that is exactly what has happened yesterday as well. क्योंकि आप अगर देखें, क्योंकि उस तरीके की गेंद आपके पास जब आप इंग्लैंड में हैं कभी भी आ सकती है. There's one ball which is going to come out of nowhere and will leave you bamboozled absolutely, which is what happened with him, because it suddenly rose up. He was trying to fend it off, but then just taking the shoulder of the bat and going to the wicket keeper behind. So I think वो एक delivery, actually it was unplayable. And I think उस तरीके की गेंद जब आपके पास में आती है, तो एक बल्लेबाज के तौर पे आप सिर्फ यही मना सकते हैं कि आप किसी तरीके से बच जाएं, क्योंकि आप कोई भी खिलाड़ी हो, आप सचिन हो, आप कोहली हो, आप गावस्कर हो, आप कपिल देव हो, कोई भी हो, उस टाइप की बॉल पे आपसे गलती होना बहुत आसान हो जाता है. बट देन व्हाट यू हैव टू आल्सो लुक एट इज दैट कैच वाज ड्रॉप्ड, and the position in which Joe Root took that at the first slip was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I was sitting in disbelief for a couple of moments that how did he even manage to cling on to it. So I mean, it's just unluck. It's just pure unluck as far as this dismissal is concerned. But we can
All
wait
right.
and watch.
We can wait and watch. ठीक है, तो हम obviously जैसे कि मैंने बोला कि सेंचुरी के बारे में बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, but the fact that ये statement आया that sometimes Indian commentators can be a little too harsh, क्योंकि जो भी कोहली करे, I think it's seen with a magnifying glass, but it's also with the fact that the way Pratyay said, उनके caliber के player के लिए वो expectations obviously उतने ज़्यादा होता है. Coming back to talking about luck, there's a warm-up T20I game that happened between Team India and North Hampshire. यहाँ अगर देखा जाए, then once again the bowlers have probably taken up this new role of becoming batters. क्योंकि अगर यहाँ देखा जाए, Harshal Patel has scored 54 of just 36, and Avish Khan, of course, picking up the wickets for Team India, 2 for 16. Glover, on the other hand, taking 3 for 33, and Zayab scoring 33 for them. So clearly, India have won this match, and Dinesh Karthik was leading from the front. A quick word on that. क्या हो रहा है? All the bowlers putting on their batters hat. Clearly, it doesn't matter which format it is.
Yeah, I mean, after what we saw Jasprit Bumrah doing against Stuart Broad, that is the only thing that you can say. And I mean, correctly pointed out, Nivedna. I think it just goes on to prove what great riches India has, what great depth of batting he has in the Indian team has, because Harshal Patel striking a half century and in quick time goes on to tell you that that India is batting really deep. Coming after a good win against Ireland, a couple of T20Is that India managed to clean sweep over there. So these players would be high on confidence from that as well. Of course, it was not one of the strongest oppositions they were up against, but a win at the international level is a win nonetheless. So I think they would be high on confidence as well. And Harshal Patel, I mean, he has shown that he has got he has got the ability to bat a little bit. Of course, he is a great death ball bowler, and that is what his assigned role or designated role in the team is. But if you look at him, he has done a few things with the bat on few occasions. So I think that he's just going on to prove that as well. And I think these victories in the lead up to the white ball series will only do a great good to their confidence, because there are three. I mean, there's not a lot of time. Just 5th of July, this Test match concludes. 7th July, they are playing the first game of the white ball series. So I think it's good that they are winning the games and they can take that momentum forward.
All right, that is talking about some good news coming in. But when we talk about the English weather, we don't know what the news is, whether it's good or bad. Let's take a quick update on this. It's bright, sunny, and the forecast shows no chances of rain either. Remember, it is an extended day with 98 overs scheduled to be bowled. Now, once again, like I said, यहाँ पे चाहे luck भी will not favor when it comes to English weather, but as of now looks fine according to the card. But we also did see how rain can pan out. But if it were to rain a little bit, if that were to happen, is that going to be giving an advantage to which side?
Well, I think, Nivedna, whenever it is about rain, the batting side is never happy, because you want to stay out in the middle. You want to get into your groove. You build a momentum. You kind of try to understand what the ball is doing, how the pitch is behaving, and then suddenly that momentum, that concentration of yours is lost. You have to come back again after the rain break. It could be as long as 15 minutes. It could be as long as 4 hours. So you never know that what's going to happen. So you're suddenly told that now you have to bat again. You have to start from scratch. And in England, batting is never easy. I mean, it's one of those places which is not a great place to be a batter. So whenever you players are in England, they really want to, leave a mark. So in these kind of challenging situations, it becomes even all the more difficult for them to get set. And that is what we have seen, in this particular game as well. If you see the theme, how Rain has played, in the first innings when there was rain, Jimmy Anderson ended up bowling a long extended spell. We saw Shami bowling around 17, 18 overs on the trot. That was again because he was kept fresh because of the rain breaks. तो आपको आराम मिलता रहता है. आप आमतौर पे उम्मीद नहीं करेंगे एक फास्ट बॉलर से कि वो 18 ओवर्स एक साथ एक स्पेल में कभी भी डाल सकता है. इट्स एब्सोल्युटली इम्पॉसिबल. But then it turned out to be that way. So I think if it rains, of course, it's very good and very heartening to know that the forecast is clear set for today. But I think if it rains, it's always going to favor the bowling side. But at the moment, I think India is pretty much in the pole position, so they would not be too worried about all of that.
All right, talking about this game, let's get some predictions going. अगर आप सब मुझे comment section में बता रहे हैं कि England या India जीतेगा, which is fantastic. But tell me, do you think Rishabh Pant will once again get a century, and this time around, do you think he can get to 150, or is it too soon to make that kind of prediction because nobody wants to jinx it? लेकिन आपको क्या लगता है? Do you think Pujara and Pant will be able to get there, or do you think that ultimately England has those bowlers who can really trouble this partnership as well, because that's very crucial that they get the momentum going in today's play. दूसरी तरफ, what is happening on social tracker? Let's find out. And let's see what the tweets are all about in regard to this fifth and final rescheduled test match. Johnny Besto over here, the bowlers and Besto, a lone warrior is what it says. Well, indeed, Team England की तरफ से God when, इतना अनलकी कोई कैसे हो सकता है भाई. Okay. Harsha Bogle saying, once again, the point is driven in life as in cricket. You need a Pant and a Pujara. Mia Magic continues in England is what RCB has tweeted. Another incredible effort, taking his tally to 18 wickets in the ongoing series. Okay, this is Crick Tracker humor tweeting about the fact that when will Kohli century come. वो तो obviously एक discussion है जो हम भी इंतजार कर रहे हैं कि कभी ना कभी तो खत्म होगा. लेकिन like the way Pratyay said, very interesting the way Harsha Bogle also summarized that in the form of Test cricket you need a Pant, but you also need a Pujara, right? I mean, that's one is building the fortress on a different level, and the momentary is gained in one kind of way that you get a player like Pant, who's smashing it all over the park, and then you have a wall like Pujara to sit and defend. That's the beauty of Test cricket. On that very note, I want to thank Pratyay for joining me once again with his brilliant views, and all of you as well for your interactive predictions that you have made. We'll come back and find out who's going to be right and wrong. So don't forget to join us once again only on Crick Tracker's special show In the Air to be discussing everything between the England and India's fifth test.